Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second segment, episode 244 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today, with the weather dipping, we thought we'd talk about curb appeal for fall selling. And who would have thought we're here, given the fact that it was 108 last month or last week, I feel like. But it is time to really start taking these things into consideration. You really need to be about 30 days ahead, and that's why we are talking about this today.
And I think fall starts fall starts on September 21st, right?
Jeff, you are much better at that than I am.
I think that's pretty close.
All I know is that the pumpkin patches are beginning to pop up and will be in full of force this weekend.
Very much so. And that kind of leads into preparing your fall for home. There's a lot of things that you really need to do from a maintenance perspective, a preparation perspective, and we wanted to cover a few of those things today.
And so the first thing, and it's funny because the HVAC system, here in Texas is one of the most important, and we saw how important they are even in the winter two winters ago when we got down to that freezing. If you don't have a company that actually does come out and do a seasonal wellness check basically on your HVAC system at this time, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. My company calls me, and we actually were out on Monday this week.
And after you get your HVAC tuned up and checked for winter, it's also a good time to get up on the roof and get the gutters cleaned out.
You know what? Here's an interesting thing is that Rodrigo with D&D window cleaning actually has added gutters to his. And so this year when he comes out and does the fall windows, I'm going to have him blow out the gutters as well, because you would be surprised at how much gunk. And I even have the mesh
gutter guards or gutter guards.
There's still so much stuff that gets in there, and I just don't. It's one of the quickest ways to have like a backup and have like a massive water issue in the roof.
And it can cause wood rot. I mean, it really getting up on the roof. There are lots of little crevices where you can get lots of leaves stuck in that just will get wet, and they'll sit there and they'll just turn into blah.
And Jason and I were talking about it because we typically always mulch the flower beds around the house in the spring. But I was actually thinking about doing them this fall so that there's less to do in the spring and just more for like planting. And for me, because we're not planting anything right now, and I just thought it would be easy. One of the things that I love to do, and it is just about time, and take it or leave it, but I love to get that winter ryegrass and put it in the fertilizer spreader and do your entire yard, and then you've got the greenest yard the entire time. I love it. I think it's beautiful.
We need to do that this year.
I love it.
One of the other things, as Weston was talking about, getting your garden ready, is a sprinkler system. Now is a really good time to get your sprinkler system adjusted. It's been running all summer. Potentially your plants have grown, and they may be blocking part of the sprinkler system. If you need a reference for somebody to work on the sprinkler system, please give me a call. We've had some really good companies to work with.
And then the other thing too is it's curb appeal and putting out your color out for the holidays. And I feel like I kind of robbed what I said about mulching from this portion, because it is a great time if you're putting your house on mulch. Hides a multitude of sins.
It really does.
It's so simple.
It really does. But this time of year, a lot of people think, well, I don't want to put my house on the market during the holidays. Well, there are good reasons too, and I've never, we've had some of our best months in December, because a lot of times people have no choice but to move. And if you're looking at wanting to buy something, a lot of times there's a little more latitude in sellers this time of year. And houses, as you go in through the holiday season, I think that houses tend to look nicer and fancier and just fresher when you've got decorations that correspond with whatever holiday is in place.
And even though it hasn't rained yet, it is now time to go ahead and buy your weed and feed and that fall fertilizer, because it is best to get that on right before it actual rains. And I have to say that last year I put on a lot more than what I thought I needed to, or it was this spring, and it made such a difference that I didn't have to fertilize my yard for the entire year. It just did such an amazing job. So I'm winter rye and I am winter fertilizer, big right now.
So it's also a really good time for you to start thinking about the safety of your home. The fall months are a really good time to check not only your smoke detectors, but also check your carbon monoxide detectors.
So, and I 100% agree with that. And I think there's so many smart gadgets out there right now that can do 1 and 2 on those. I know that I have the carbon monoxide in my garage for the kilns. But the other thing too, I think if you have a fireplace and you plan on using it at all, whether it's wood burning or whether it's gas, there's no reason why you shouldn't have a $150 chimney sweep come out there and take a look at that. It is the quickest way. The other thing too is when a chimney sweep gets up there, they can also make sure that the chimney cap is on and doing its job properly. Because if it's not, then it's actually allowing moisture and water to get in where it should be and cause multiple problems. One of the other things too is we're going to be getting ahead of the critters, and so if there is any type of mesh or cover that's preventing little furry ones from getting into your attic or your actual chimney, this is a great time to make sure that happens.
And this is also a good time of year if you have a generator on your home, make sure you get that tested, because if we go into the winter months and we have another freeze issue like we've had in the past, you're going to want to make sure that works.
I wish I had a generator. That has got to be next on the list. Last thing I'm going to add on this is that when we used to have Safe Haven Pest Control come out and they would talk to us about how much space an actual rodent needs to get into your attic, it's the equivalent of the width of your finger. So I actually took silicone caulk and went around and caulked all of the secondary drain line from my HVAC, and then I had some electrical that came out of the attic that was done in the summer and caulk that up. So those are quick things that you can look at. Also making sure that you don't have any open debris that's decayed and is allowing them in.
So hopefully you found this helpful. If there's any other topics that you'd like us to talk about, please let us know. We'd be happy to make that happen.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.